everybody. This is John Marola from Keeping It Real, Section 5 Football. And yes, we are at the end of our season. We'll get into that shortly. First of all, I just got to introduce my partners again. On my far right, Section 5 Hall of Fame coach from East High School, Paul Brigani. Paul.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, Dave.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, Dave.
And our coach in the middle from Fairport High School, Section 5 football and baseball, Coach Dave Lanning. Coach, thanks again.
Thank you, John. I enjoy being with you guys.
Yeah, and if people don't know what's going on right now, we had 3 teams that got into the semifinals as states, and unfortunately, all 3 didn't make it out. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to talk about it, basically the end of our season this year, and when we'll be starting up again, and things that we'll be doing in the near future. But first, Coach, you want to go over our our games?
Let's do that. The season's over for Section 5. We had 3 representatives in the semis, and unfortunately all took the loss. Let's start with the AA classification. Aquinas, who had been on a little bit of a tear towards the end of the season and through the sectionals, matched up with a real tough CBA team out of Syracuse. Good ball game down at Vestal. CBA came away with a 21-14 victory. CBA scored with minute 26 left in the fourth quarter to ice it. They came from behind. Aquinas had made a goal line stand earlier in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. It looked like they might be able to hang on, but CBA got the ball back with about 6 minutes left and drove for the score and hit the 2-pointer to go ahead 21-14. CBA is 12-0. They came in averaging 46 points a game. So the Aquinas defense, which has been good all year, was tough again. Aquinas took the early lead. CBA took the early lead. It was 7-0 at the half. Aquinas came out on the first play of the second half, and Darian Battle took 160 yards to the house.
Yeah, I think CBA took the opening kickoff back.
Yep.
60 yards or 80 yards for the touchdown to start the game. 10 seconds into the game, they were up 7-0. First play of the second half, Battle, again from Aquinas, 60-yard run to tie it up 7-7. Aquinas did take the lead. Quarterback Trent Buttles, sophomore, a 2-yard touchdown run for a 14-7 lead. CBA came back to score, make it 14-13, and then, as I said, scored late in the game for the victory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Aquinas had a valiant effort at the end of the game. I believe they drove down to about the 31, and then got stopped either on downs or whatever as the game ended.
I did not see the game. Watching the highlights, I noticed again, like last week with Aquinas when they played Lancaster, I noticed one kid from Lancaster going both ways, and pretty much I noticed that a little bit. I caught on the highlights with CBA. It seems like this time of year, I mean, the more kids you got going one way, the further off you're gonna, you're gonna have more. You're not gonna be exhausted or beat up or,
that, and just the preparation. If they're on the defensive side of the ball, they're getting more reps. Just concentrating on the defensive side and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a two-way player after 12 games, you're going to be banged up.
That's a lot of football.
It's just the nature of the game. And if you're a one-way guy, you have a better chance of coming in healthy. CBA goes on to play CBA of Albany next Saturday at the Dome. Should be a good one.
CBA from Albany beat Horseheads. That was the team I was trying to find.
Horseheads out of Elmira, New York.
I was trying to find last week, the team that CBA from Albany was playing. It's Horseheads. I believe I don't have my card with me, or do I? CBA last beat Horseheads.
CBA of Albany.
61-20. So, I mean, it looks like the two CBAs. Like one week, the Syracuse will have a great game, and the other one will have.
Are they both undefeated? I mean, I knew the Syracuse
yes.
was. I didn't know if the other.
Last week, going into the states, the ranking, Albany CBA was ranked 9th in the state, and Syracuse CBA was 10th in the state.
Okay.
So.
Tough end for Aquinas. I want to congratulate Coach Jackson, his staff, and his players.
Absolutely.
Great season to get that far.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They played their butts off, and we caught the highlight a little bit earlier on Coach Jackson after the game last night, and we'd like to, also just say, you guys
Congratulations.
did a great,
Yeah.
you got nothing to be, losing a game, especially when you get that far in this stage. I mean, you can almost taste it.
But in Aquinas' case, they did seek a little revenge. They did knock off McQuaid,
yep.
So they got that streak. Now they are starting the streak.
Yep.
And to win a sectional championship, to win a Western regional game, kudos to them.
Talking to Coach Dietor last week when I was at the Aquinas Lancaster game, he was talking about the Aquinas McQuaid and just saying, he goes, boy, it's good getting that monkey off your back because after a while it starts weighing down on you, But again, congratulations to Aquinas. They have a special place in my heart. I went to school there. I coached there for 16 years. So you guys made
just a tremendous tradition there, and this is another Aquinas team that just adds to it.
Yep,
They've been to the semis 11 or 12 times now.
Yep. So you made yourselves proud, your parents, the school, and everybody around you proud of. I'm sure right now, getting up the next day after that loss, it's going to sting for a little bit, but
it's hard.
But after time will heal all wounds, and you guys really did something special.
Always like to give the players a 24-hour period to.
Yep, always, no matter what.
And then move on.
Yep.
And then you're on to next year's
They
team.
typically do. The players are resilient. Coaches sometimes will fester for a while about it. What could we have done differently or whatever the case may be. But let's move on to the A semifinals. Another outstanding Section 5 team, Brighton, came in 12-0. But they ran into a buzzsaw from Section 3, Whitesboro, and Whitesboro came away with a 49-21 victory. Brighton coming in with their first sectional and first regional championship in the school's history. So nothing to trifle with there. They finished 12-1, an outstanding year for Coach Liam and his staff and players. Whitesboro was just a little too much to handle here. Add to Brighton's woes, they lost one of their outstanding players in Heininger. Got hurt in the first period.
Yep,
He's
a linebacker.
Linebacker, tight end. He's a do-it-all kind of player, Matthew Heininger, and he went out with an injury in the first period. Grady Hopkins to West Stirrup 2 times for the Brighton scores. 50-yard pass. That actually tied the game at 7 early on. But then Whitesboro scored on something like 5 straight possessions or something, and kind of took over from there. Whitesboro is 13-0 at this point. So,
what I know about Whitesboro, I believe, played in the finals last year, and I think it is going to be a rematch of last year's final. There is a buzzsaw, I think it's called Summers, who beat Whitesboro pretty good last year in the final.
Out of Section 1.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe they started this 2 years ago in the finals. So this is not a team that Brighton lost to that
no,
they know where the Carrier Dome is.
Right, this is
they played
a very quality program.
Over the last couple of years, they played, they've gotten this far. And even I can go back to when I was coaching at Aquinas, we played them, I said 1 year, and that's one good program right there. Their kids play so hard, and I was watching the highlights of the Brighton game, and same thing. They're just tough kids.
Yeah, Whitesboro play Friday against Summers at the Dome. Yeah, Coach Liam and his staff, his defensive staff, an outstanding job. Their offensive line was great all year. We know that Gavin Parks had a huge year. Heiniger was a very good player for them. So, they've turned the corner in that program.
I mean, they had a year ago they lost in the sectional finals to East High, and then this year now they became sectional champions. So,
incrementally they've been getting better.
Yes, they have.
Yes.
So I don't, it's hard to repeat, but they won't take much of a step backwards, I'm sure.
Now,
they've built a nice program there. So.
Did they have? What was the score of that game?
It ended up. I've got it here somewhere.
It was 40-something to 20-something.
49-21.
49.
I was just wondering. Did you see? Because
I don't know if Parks scored or not.
If he did,
as my understanding, I think Parks ran for about 84 yards, so they kept him in check from what he, normally does. And on the other side of it, Whitesboro ran the ball very good. I think they had 400-something plus yards rushing in that game.
Well, without Heiniger, it forces Brighton to make some adjustments offensively because he's a threat.
Right,
he not only he blocks well, but he catches it. He's thrown for a touchdown pass too.
Right,
you lose some formations and things.
Interesting though.
But again, congratulations to that whole staff.
Yes,
Coach Liam has over the last few years done a great job there.
Absolutely.
And talking to Coach Weimer, I talked to him after their sweet home game last week at Brockport State and everything. And it's funny because he walks over the field and he know that we played him, back a while ago we played. He goes, "Tell me about Whitesboro." And I said, the only thing I know about them, which I know is probably still true, is that they're just tough kids. So you're not going into a football game, you're going into a war. You play kids like that, they're gonna come and play like every down's their last play, Yeah. They all play like Gavin, just about, And again, to him, Gavin, I'll tell you, I just really enjoyed watching him play this year. He brought it every time he touched the ball. He brought it. He just he was really fun to watch. And now I'm going to kick myself because the other one that really impressed me this year was the running back from Monroe.
Well, the game we saw him against Rundequoit, he had an outstanding game.
Yep, he really.
And again, Monroe typically is a throwing team. With Cunningham and just the talented receivers they have, but. This young man's a very good running back catches the ball out of the backfield.
Double threat.
Yeah, let's not forget the Brighton to come through that classification, which was real tough this year.
Right.
To win the sectionals and then the regional is a feather in their cap because we had Canandaigua, Monroe.
East was in there too. We had a lot of good teams in that class.
Brighton, I'm sure, were Rundequoit. Yeah, there were 5 or 6 teams that could have easily won that division.
We said that about double A and A this year. Throughout the season, pretty much that there were 5 teams. Brighton going through, undefeated, kind of put them up there, but still having to go through those teams like that, it was very impressive. Aquinas coming in as a 3 in sectionals this year in Double A. You're looking at, of course, probably McQuaid. U-Prep at the time was red hot.
And
Fairport was red hot.
Fairport was the one seed.
Fairport was the surprise team in the regular season to end up as the number 1 seed.
Well, they beat McQuaid, beat Aquinas.
Yep.
U-Prep game was a funny game. U-Prep, the winner was on a muffed punt that the kid ran in for a touchdown.
Yep.
So, they were right there the whole way.
Yep. But congratulations to Brighton. They're doing something over there, and
it's been going on for a while, but they're tough.
Yeah,
they
hopefully
have built and next man up, and we'll see what what some of their younger levels now. They're going to be varsity football players next year, and see if they can make a name for themselves.
Yep, the seniors definitely laid a foundation.
For sure.
Yeah, I think there was a senior-laden team.
Yes, it was. And so hopefully all the younger guys just pick that up and keep it going.
Well, our last game to report is the 8-man division, and Pembroke's 35-game win streak comes to an end. 35 games in a row, which something to be proud of.
Yes.
They were defeated 52-26 by Frankfurt Schuyler in a wild and woolly one. Frankfurt Schuyler had a 32-12 halftime lead and hung on. Caleb Felsky caps a great season for Pembroke with 3 touchdowns. Finished with 55 touchdowns for the year. He rushed for 254. Jacob Johnson added 11 tackles in the losing effort for Pembroke. Frankfurt Schuyler goes on to play Moravia out of Section 4 on December 7th.
Yes. And it's at Moravia.
Frankfurt Schuyler last year, that was the team that Pembroke beat. As far as, I think we had a Western Regional and then even like a semifinal. We didn't have a true final, but it was a rematch of the game that Pembroke won a year ago, and this year Frankfurt won, got their revenge.
Yeah. Now,
Moravia.
Moravia, I know it's 8-man or whatever, but they're playing their state championship game in their backyard. That's kind of...
Yeah, that's a bonus.
You think? So, I looked at it when I was looking over the games coming up for the state finals this weekend coming up, and I looked at it. It's 3:00, right behind their high school, playing for a state championship game. I wish I was in their shoes.
Yeah, not bad. Travel is not an issue.
No.
Walk out the door.
Hotels or food or anything.
Right.
Well,
it's been, 5 years now since Section 5's had somebody in the finals at the Dome.
That was my quiz question.
Well, I'm sorry, John,
but
you didn't let us know that ahead of time.
I wanted to keep it a surprise, and now it's not a surprise.
Not a surprise.
But, and that's something that we haven't had anyone in the finals.
Who was the last team in the
time
finals?
to get back. Time to get back.
Aquinas was, I think, the last team.
Aquinas?
Yeah, they want last team to win. I don't know.
They're the last team in the finals.
Yeah, they were the last team in the finals, but we have not had a representative the last 5 years.
That was
at any classification. And what Pembroke did last year, they went as far as they could go. It just was not a true state
final.
Things are always cyclical, but early on in the state tournament, Section 5 had its way for a while.
Right.
We were represented every year, it seems like.
Yeah.
And it's been a little bit of a drought, and hopefully that'll turn around next year.
Yeah, like you said, it's the pendulum swings. I remember for the longest time we had our way with the Buffalo teams, and then more recently we weren't getting past our own sectional. None of ours advanced through the Western Regional.
Yep. Now, on my list over here, I'm looking through, I did watch a game. I was going to go yesterday at noon to go watch the state number 1 team in the state this year. Iona Prep. Iona Prep is playing the Catholic Championship. It was at Canisius High School in Buffalo. But I woke up yesterday and they shut down the thruway. So
that would make travel a little
wise decision, John.
Yeah, it was a tough decision, but you know what? I said no. So I stayed home, and luckily I found it on TV. So I watched that on TV. That was all because that game started at 11. So I kind of watched that, and then went into got into my college mode with Ohio State, Michigan,
Lots of good games yesterday,
and then Auburn, Alabama, and Texas A&M. But I wanted to take a look at Iona Prep because I've seen them on paper. I've watched them on Varsity Media a little bit, and we watched a little bit of them. They're legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're big and talented and can hurt you a lot of ways.
And they got a running back. He reminds me of Gavin. I mean, he runs like that. Like every play is his last play. He's got a real interesting name. His name is Cruz Davis.
Wow.
So Cruz, he's a junior, and he runs. He's 6'1", 215. So he's a little bit bigger than Gavin, but they have the same style. You know, they run like every place.
So, is that championship this week?
No,
That
that
was
was
the
championship. That was the Catholic,
Right.
New York State Catholic
They
champion.
do that every year,
They do
right?
it
The
every
Buffalo
year.
champion plays
Now,
downstate.
next year, what will happen? Whoever wins up, excuse me, up here, say it's Canisius again. If they win up here, they'll have to go downstate. They flip flop every year. The downstate will come up.
Do they play the game at the school?
Well, if the
Or-
games are at their high school, yes. If it's at some other facility
If they use
that they
another
play on,
facility?
then they'll go down and play. But they flip flop every year. So next year, whoever wins up here will have to go down
Travel
and
down.
play down there.
And the Long Island championships are this coming week.
Yeah, with the Suffolk and Nassau
That's
County.
in 2
And they've got
weeks.
different
Yeah.
divisions too. I
Right,
think,
right,
along
right.
Island.
Their finals is going to be in. They're playing the semifinals coming up this week,
Okay.
and then,
Yeah,
and then
you know,
the finals.
it should be a very interesting off season because you have some very large Long Island teams, and right now we have a double A. Will that change the double A, and then they will form a triple A to accommodate some of the bigger high schools, and what our numbers will be to decide where we classify teams, whether it's class double A, B, and so on, what the cutoffs will be.
Yeah, because right now we have so many teams with at least 2, maybe 3 other high schools involved with one.
And
Yeah.
the other is we saw a lot of teams chose the independent route.
Mm-hmm.
And will that continue? And I think a lot will be depending on where schools are going to be placed.
Yes, pretty much so.
It is a fluid situation. I mean, it changes year to year. It seems like.
You know, and it's beds numbers.
Yeah.
Changes things. Teams that end up combining. We're seeing more and
Got
more
a lot
of that.
of combined teams.
So
Now, I probably should have done this homework myself. John, maybe you know. I wonder how many Section 5 champs we've had total. State champs.
it'd be
in all
interesting,
divisions.
really breaking it down to the different sections and seeing how many.
Well, what I was going to do one day is I was going to look. I know Aquinas has the most in New York State as far as state championships, so I know that they have the most in Section 5. They have 8. I'm going to say right behind that's got to be Kelmom, Leroy,
Cornell,
Cornell,
maybe, and there.
maybe Clyde Savannah. And then you're looking at how many does Fairport have? Well, because Fairport started
State championship?
Yeah.
Yeah, the true one, right?
Just one.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rush
And
Henrietta had
finals.
one.
Got beat in the
yeah.
finals one
Yep.
year too, back to back.
Rush Henrietta had one of the state titles.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to look that up.
Well, you had a couple Schrader teams, right?
Yeah.
That won.
Yep.
After
2001,
us.
Did
Yeah.
they win a
2002.
couple? Did they
They
win?
went, I think they went
know.
back to back.
I don't know.
They might have. And that, so yeah,
I'm not
interesting.
sure.
Interesting, but also interesting. The comparison with the downstate teams to the upstate teams. Who has more?
Yeah, we could do that for another time,
Yeah.
another show. It'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Break it down.
I would. My thinking, my honest opinion on things up here as far as football, you have to make football important. And I'm talking about the people in charge. I don't want to hear, well, we don't have the money. There's money for everything. Whatever you want, there's money. You may have to hustle a little bit, have some, car washes or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, or else we're going to lose kids.
Well, and it's just the work involved. Going to the clinics, listening to a lot of the successful high school coaches throughout the state and other states, what are they doing? And when you get the opportunity, maybe to travel to one of those programs and, sit down with some of their coaching staff and what are they doing that maybe we're not doing.
See, I loved this year in the beginning of the year when they had the non-league game, was the first game, and CBA.
Right.
UPrep played St. Anthony's.
Right, we had Canandaigua and Victor played in the Dome.
And they played in. See, I like that. I mean, that's what makes it special.
Well, football's hard, so you need to dress it up. You need to do some things. I mean, you start when it's hot, you end when it's cold. You're in the rain. You play once a week. So, I mean, practice can be drudgery. But, we need to dress it up and promote it a little bit. I'd like to reflect a little bit on the season, though, past.
Okay.
And a couple of things that stand out to me. One is in the Class B, the turnaround that Eastridge made this year.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That was
Going from an 0-8 season last year, a new coach comes in.
Victor Davis.
Victor Davis,
yes.
Thank you. And the program, early in the year, struggled a little bit, found out how to get it done, and ended up a sectional champ.
Yeah, and you could see the growth in that program week by week because we saw them, Johnny, week 1 against Arundequoit. And they were down 48 points at halftime.
Yes. So, just, again, talking about them, Brighton, when I mentioned Brighton now, the younger kids at Brighton have a good base. The kids from Eastridge, the younger ones at Eastridge now it's going to become your turn. These seniors left you all something. They left you a nice foundation. That hard work does pay off. And, just keep on, putting in your time and putting in effort, and you'll see results.
And, you continue to have what I call the blue bloods, the Canandaiguas that are always right there up in the mix. East was solid, again, in that class. In Arundequoit continues to have success. So, there's a lot of good football being played, and can these teams stay at that level? And then there was the top newcomers, like you mentioned, with Eastridge. What we saw out of Fairport this year was a great season, and we see a good young Rush Henrietta team that by the end of the year was a very formidable foe.
Yes.
You can't go through the motions in football. I mean, you have to put the work in.
Yes.
There's no substitute.
There's no hiding.
And to that end, a little shout out to the Section 5 coaches who work at it, try to get better. I mean, we all know coaches and the effort that is put into it. Sometimes against tough odds, but want their players to have the best possible experience. And by and large, Section 5 coaches get that done. So congrats to everyone across the board.
And we continue to enjoy going to these Friday night games.
Yes.
Watching the players, talking to coaches. And, there's a lot of talent that we see.
Going back a little bit, first of all, I got to, like Coach just said, I have to say thank you, to some people that really got me going on this. The first one has got to be George Giordano, because it's coming, it was a little more than a year ago when we were driving down to Ohio, and it was myself and Paul. Behind me was Bob Ebert, George Giordano, and Sammy Casarino was in the backpack. And, we're talking, we're going down and talking about, football up in Rochester. And we were like, it needs a pop, it needs some juice, it needs whatever. And then I said, hey, let's think about doing a podcast. And again, I have to thank George, because I looked in the rearview mirror and he was in the back seat and he rolled his eyes at me. Like, yeah, sure. And he did say to me, I don't know if you remember when he was here, Paul, you were gone. He did say, and just think, I doubted you with this. Not saying that.
And now it's 37, 38 episodes.
Sorry, 38 episodes. We're 38 in.
So it's come a long way.
And I'd like just to thank everybody that helped out. First of all, I got to start with my mother. A lot of people don't. She's in the hospital right now. She fell about a week or so ago, and she's in the hospital recovering a little bit. Hopefully, we'll get her back here soon. And just want to say, Mom, I love you, and get better day by day.
Soon.
Yep.
Hopefully by Christmas some pizzelles show up.
I know. Just got to get her back working. The other one is the other guy that if I did not go to, and he's just been a godsend to me, is Nick Taranko, is our computer guy up at school. Actually, he left. He's over at School 25 right now. He started there at the beginning of this year, but when I started this up in February, he helped me with all this, and this would never have happened if it wasn't for him. And just, I have to say, just thank you very much, Nick, helping me with this. Like I said, this would have never happened without you. The talking football, we all talk. We can talk football 24/7, but all the other stuff. And I've had my little glitches along the way.
It's okay,
Paul?
John. You've done a remarkable job.
Absolutely. And, it's, and it started too at the West Side camp. But, if you look at it, there are now people in Section 5 that know about keeping it real, Section 5 football. And, whether it's some of the young high school players or guys on teams, the coaches, they are aware that, we're here to pass out information and give accolades to some really good accomplishments that have been throughout this, the season. And we expect next year to be even bigger and better. We have a list of guests that we will, continue interviewing and passing information out. And, we look forward to season 2.
Mm-hmm.
As I see it, our job is to promote the game.
Yes.
Promote Section 5, the players, the coaches, and everyone that makes it work.
Yes, it's very, very true. And to be honest with you, this really was a little bit of a dream that came true. I was just tickled pink. My biggest joy out of this, first of all, is being here every week with you guys. I enjoy you guys.
We have fun.
We have fun. We have to have fun because we're not getting paid for this.
Wait a minute. What? We're not getting paid?
Well, we got a little. There's a cup of coffee.
Okay.
All right. There's a cup of coffee
we
involved.
do this because we love football.
We love it.
I'm not a mercenary.
No. So, and the other thing is, honestly, is when we're out and about and we talk to people and somebody will come up and say, "Hey, I've seen your show. It's awesome." That really makes me feel good. That people do watch it, enjoy it.
Well, and John, I don't know if it's happened to you or Dave, but I seem to run into people asking, when can they be on the show?
Oh, I get that all the time.
We have people that want to be on the show, and we have to say, you're on the wait on the list. We'll see if we can fit you in. But it's becoming popular.
Yes, and we just enjoy it a lot. And, in the beginning, like I said, we've gone through our little hiccups along the way. Starting off with our first episode, Paul and I when it was blurry.
Yeah, and I think you didn't have your mic on.
Now, which I didn't know.
That was a bad thing?
My mic, the microphones have an on-off switch, okay? Again, we're talking about, technology. And after we were done and we watched it, you can hardly hear myself. Well, what was happening, mine was off, Paul's mic was on, and everything you were hearing was through Paul's mic. Well, so I didn't have my microphone on.
Well, I'm sure you could put together a good bloopers series for the whole year, too.
That's what I'm going to plan on coming up with, just talking a little bit about our future here. We're Section 5. We talked about Section 5. This will be our last episode, episode 38. We did, like Paul, we were saying, we've done 38 episodes this year, and that's going to be season 1.
I don't even know, John. You maybe know, when did we do our first episode? Was it in January?
It was the end of January.
End of January.
Yep. And our first guest, who actually I just talked to about a week ago, And I told him, I said, in the off season, you're definitely coming back on. He goes, I love. Actually, I can't talk like how. Yeah, I love to, but it was John DiTullio.
John DiTullio was our
and we
first
had a real
guest.
good time with John.
Yep.
He really got us off onto a good foot. Just getting us going in the right direction. And I've been up to his station, excuse me, a couple times, and just to be around and just show me things.
Yeah, and what was so interesting too is he came from, I believe, Erie Prep,
Right.
Yes.
and just a tremendous football power in Pennsylvania, and just hearing his perspective on how things were like in high school, at Erie Prep, and just the whole Rochester scene.
Mm-hmm.
When John started out here, and I think I have this right, we were the first interview, Fairport, the first interview that he did. It was back in '97, and actually came to my house.
Oh, really?
With his camera person, and they did us going on to the States and so on.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've known John for a long time now.
And just thanking everybody that's been on our show. I mean, you started as a guest when we went with the Rivals.
Rivalries, right?
Yes, that's correct.
and
Coach Quinn and I were on.
Yep.
You obviously saw the potential of me being here
Right.
as a regular.
Right, we plucked Alan.
Please, I mean, I won't say that. Please.
And I appreciate that.
No, it was really fun having you, and I mean, if we ever get the other guy back, maybe we'll have an episode with us four. It'll basically be just
A round table discussion.
around.
We'll need a big table.
Well, I think if we put two here and one on each side, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But having
And the other thing, John, I did like, what the presentation you have out front here. We have the little brown jug,
Yes,
the
Coach,
cleats.
which I'll be taking
know,
back.
No, you won't. No, you
we've
won't.
got the Rydell hats, and I think that we want to build on to that.
Yes.
That's one of our
Yes.
goals for the season 2 is
Yes.
to build on.
season two,
the chalkboard.
the chalkboard and the whiteboard,
Right.
little
Clapboard. Which,
the clapboard I just brought in. I don't know. I just throw that out there a
important.
little bit. Yes.
So there's a lot to look forward to.
Yep. The also now going back and thinking about people I have to thank my girl Tina, because remember I was talking about the hiccups that we have I had every once in a while. Well, she was listening to the brunt of those when I was something would go wrong, and you heard a couple of them. There were a couple times where I was not doing good with our. You do something, you come home and you watch it, and it's like
We did.
There's nothing.
We were waiting because we didn't know if we were going to be on or the plug was going to be pulled.
You hate to
Yeah.
be disappointed because you do put in a great effort, John, and I'm serious now.
Thank
And,
you.
when things don't work out, it's like anything else in life. It's
Yeah.
like losing a game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like losing a game.
And again, thanking all the sponsors, and you could mention Joe Muno having it, having it Premier Sports, and I know we did have Joe got the sweatshirts for the
Yes,
kids,
yes.
the players of the week, and we were able to met a lot of fantastic kids that had great performances all year.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Doing the Player of the Week was a lot of fun. Honestly, all the young men that we had for Player of the Week, they're great people to begin with. First of all, just doing it with them and looking at what they've done in football, what they're going to want to do in the future was just awesome.
We saw that at the West Side camp when we interviewed head coaches and some of their captains, and you could just tell these are real character kids that were selected by either their teammates or their coaches to be representative, and we could tell it right away.
And again, I just hope we can expand that a little bit to include some of the guys in the trenches next year.
Yes. Yes.
Give them a little recognition.
Yeah.
Well, we had the Arunda. Remember, we had the Arundequate
Oh, we had
line.
the offensive line
line and-
after the Eastridge game.
Then I think the cookie tray got over there.
Yeah, Danny Fichter brought cookies in, and it just went kind of
Yeah,
sideways
you're
from
gonna lose
there.
that battle.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, and I think when we had that interview with the lineman, one of the linemen scored a touchdown that day.
Did he make an interception or
Or
something?
touched the football. or
He made
whatever.
an interception.
Yeah, but I thought someone had scored, and then when we asked if anybody else had, there was one other young man who had scored a touchdown.
in another game.
Fell on a
yes.
fumble
Yep,
or whatever. And,
yep.
so that was great.
A couple other people we got to start. I mean, we go back to them again. Is you started with our sponsors with Joe Muno and doing the Player of the Week. Just thank you again for everything that you've done for us. Really appreciate it. We go back to our first sponsor, Westside Camp, over with Coach G, and that's when we that was the first time we took from here
All
off-site.
the equipment
And everything and
right.
tugging things around. If people would see our setup, how we used to have it compared to now, I mean, it's like day and night as far as equipment. I mean, I had all kinds of stuff. I had so many wires and everything. It's just, but little by little, Nick up at school again helped me, kind of minimize it a little bit. Helped me out a lot. Our other sponsors, Toga, my niece's husband, he owns Rochester Jewelry and Tech over on Mount Reed Boulevard. Again, if you go in there and just mention our show to him, he'll give you a excuse me, a little, got a little discount for things, and
With Christmas coming up.
Christmas is coming up, so I'm kind of not looking forward to Christmas, but that's about school. So I got to go through the rest of our sponsors. Actually, we lost the sponsor,
Oh.
and that was Howie over at Sticky Lips. Right at the beginning of the season, everything was fine, and then I got an email or a text from him saying that he'll be closing down, and I called him right away, and said, "What's going on here?" And he just had enough, and he did it for 36 years.
Right.
So that's a hell of a run.
Right.
So
Well, if we make 36 years, John, with the show,
Well, we did make 38 episodes.
yeah.
So,
So that's not a start.
we'll start 1 year in the can.
right. Well, that was great.
So-
That was a great year. We had a lot of fun, and we look forward to 2000.
Custo Print,
25.
another one we have to mention where I get all our stuff embroidered. Working with them up there this year. I'm also got some other ideas for our next season. So just thanking Cardell and his staff up there. They're doing a great job, and I really appreciate what you've done with us, with our station, with our channel. After that, I have Ronnie. Can't forget about Crawdaddy.
Right. Right.
That's Paul, one of Paul's old guys I was working with over at Charlotte. He has the private security company, and it's called Under the Radar. So if you're looking for anything as far as security, your personal security or business security, him and Diego, they run it, and they do a great job. So just look on our credits. I got the phone numbers for all of our sponsors. If you're looking for anything like that, just give them a call or give me a call or an email, and we'll just go from there. But again, I'd like to thank again all of our sponsors for helping us, and that's something I want to expand on in the off. We're not having a really big off season.
Excuse me.
Christmas Day, for sure. I know we're going to be back with the large school, keeping it real, or if you want to call it Super 24. A lot of people remember in and around here the Super 22. The high school, they had 11 kids on offense and 11 on defense. We're going Super 24 because we're going to throw in the punter and kicker. So that's why we're going to go 24. So we're going to have a large school coming out on Christmas Day at 9 a.m. And the large schools are going to be basically all the AA and A teams. And you're going to get 11 on offense and 11 on defense and a punter and a kicker. And I hope we don't miss anybody out from that. But those are guys that we've seen and kind of really, impressed us and should get some final recognition. A lot of these kids are seniors. So a lot of them going on to college, or maybe they're just done playing football, at all, just going to college.
Well, we mentioned some of the teams that caught our eye this year, and I think there we'll mention some of the individual players that caught our eye.
I know for sure Alan from Nesmith from McQuaid. He's going down to the University of Miami, but he's not going to play football. He just wants to go and get his schooling in.
And, right, and a lot of these kids too are multi-sport athletes that they may go, whether it be lacrosse or basketball or wrestling, whatever. That if they, what road they're going to choose.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gavin Parks being one of them, he's going to Dartmouth for lacrosse. Mm-hmm. And. He could have been one hell of a football player somewhere, but that's his future, and, we're just going to support, we'll support them all, they're all our kids, right. And just keep on doing bigger and better things.
We're good.
Have I talked enough?
I think we're good.
It's your show, John.
You said that a couple times to me, and you know what? You're right. But again, thank you. I'd like to thank you too.
John, thank you,
George. I had a lot of fun doing this. First of all, and we're not saying goodbye. We're just saying see you later. And
as they say, we'll be back.
We will be back with, and it'll be season 2, episode 1.
Well,
so,
yeah, we have. You're going to start season 2 with the Super 24.
That's going to.
Or will that be an extension of this year?
It'll be an extension of this year.
I think just like we did last year, sometime late in January, we would start up.
Wish everyone a happy holidays with that show. Coaches, if you have a player you think is worthy of that, please let us know.
Yep.
Email us, text us, whatever the case is.
First things first, I got to say thank you again to all the coaches that sent in the Player of the Week nominees. I really appreciate that. And, nothing's perfect. I tried so hard I wanted outside people to help with this, but trying to get something like that. Actually, I was trying to get, DeTulio involved in it, and he's just so busy with everything else on his plate. Some people up at Channel 8, the news desk up there with Thad Brown, who we've had on, and honestly, people are just, they're just so booked up. You know what it is? Mostly is the Bills. Yeah. The Bills is like 24/7 with the news guys around here, the sports guys. Mm-hmm. So just doing it like that, and if I don't have your player in there, just keep on sending them to me, because I do look at them and I take them all into consideration. I pass them by you guys, and we just go from there. I always do that towards the end. Let me take a quick glance here, and then again, next week I'll probably be on just to do the bloopers. We'll see how that goes. I'll throw some music on it.
Well, there can't be many.
We're having one right now.
Wow.
We're having a bloop right now.
For yourself.
So that's about all I have for now. I know I probably forgot something. Again, thank you everybody that watches our show. Oh, you know what I forgot is, again, I should have said this in the beginning. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. After the show, like in an hour or so, I'm going to have my niece come over. This doesn't stop for me. And she's teaching me how to do the TikTok. The stuff that's number one in your book.
Yeah. I'm an influencer. So.
I noticed that. So he's like giving me the whip about getting TikTok. So, yes, we are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. So just trying to get it out to everybody. That's why I have to go look at you were saying something to me earlier about the views. Our views.
I asked you
about the views.
Our views are on so many different platforms now. So it may look low on, like, say, YouTube, but TikTok's gone crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to judge what's it coming off of. And then I got to get into YouTube. I also had a boo-boo with one of the music.
You don't need to tell people about that, John, because
that's right.
you're liable to be in jail next week. I don't know.
God, would that be? Then you'd have to host the show.
Well,
You'd have to do it from outside, but anyways,
Remote.
Paul, anything? And
no, I think you covered it, and we'll have a little honoring of some of the individuals come up in a couple of weeks, and then we look forward to starting season 2 sometime later in January.
yes, Coach Lanning.
No, other than I've enjoyed it. Paul,
Dave,
thank you.
enjoyed
John,
that.
you've done a great job. Coach Giordano, when you're around, it's always a pleasure, too.
Wow, interesting. Okay, you gave him a little pub.
I did.
Yeah, that's good of you.
I love it. It's the holiday season.
You're in that cheerful mood. All right, good. All right, everybody. I'll be back on next week. Just throwing some bloopers on, and when I say that we're going to be done, being done may be like 2 weeks, because I definitely want to try to keep this going. Because, like they say, if you're watching, you're watching. If you don't watch, you may never watch again. So I just want to keep everybody up to date as far as what's going on. So, we good?
Good.
We're good.
Here we go on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Keeping it real, Section 5 football.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Thank you for everything.
It's a wrap.
That's a wrap, Johnny Clark.
Oh, yeah, I get to do this now.
Yeah, you get to do that.
Episode 38, take 1. How's that?
Yeah.
Right in front of
Good.
you.
That's fine. That's what the public wants.
It's a wrap. We're done.
We're done.
If I drown, would you pull me back to you? If I drown in your poison. If I drown, would you pull me back to you? If I drown in your poison. If I drown, would you pull me back to you? If I drown in your poison. If I drown, would you pull